All Might is the symbol of peace, but the MCU is not a place for peace. This is a world with aliens, gods, and infinity stones, things All Might have never had to face before. So the real question is, could All Might survive the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or will he die trying? Hi, I'm the Hollow Error, and let's not waste any time. If you've watched My Hero Academia, then All Might needs no introduction. But if you haven't, All Might is the #1 hero of Japan and has a superpower called a quirk. His quirk, called One For All, grants him incredible speed, strength, and durability. His punches can level entire cities, he's fast enough to move beyond people even seeing him, and durable enough to take hits from his arch nemesis, All For One, who possess similar levels of power. During the story, his main weakness is that an injury he sustained while fighting All For One the first time leaves him in a weakened old man state after just a few hours of hero work. He's incredibly smart, strategic, and will always come to save the day, even if it's to his detriment. For this scenario, we'll put him in his prime. His power is calculated to be constant level, being 60 times stronger than in the show. His speed is faster than light, being compared to complete Shigaraki, who could react to and catch lasers. His durability should be similar to his strength as he withstands his own punches. In his prime, he was able to do hero work for 72 consecutive hours. Since his prime would have been before this injury, we'll assume that All Might can at least fight for longer than in the show, so he wouldn't have to worry about running out of time in his fights. He has a multitude of powerful smash attacks that he can use for multiple situations, including air manipulation, and can even use them to fly through the air by propelling himself with the force of his strength. In this scenario, we'll place him in the story and see how far he'll make it. Let's say that before the events of MHA, while doing hero work in America, Nick Fury contacts him and tells him about how he's trying to start the Avengers and he wants All Might on the team. I'm sure All Might would say yes, as he's always been one for teamwork and being filled in on other important hero operations. Now, funnily enough, in the intro explaining heroes you can see the outline of multiple Marvel heroes and even Superman. Not to mention that the Deadpool manga had an All Might cameo, so, technically this scenario is already possible canonically, but fun references and mild crossovers aside, All Might would be more than happy to join the team. During the first movie, The Avengers, All Might wouldn't change much since most of the story is just everyone trying to work as an actual team. All Might could help stabilize the helicarrier when it's in danger of falling with his air punches, and when Hulk goes on a rampage, All Might could also be there to handle him. With his impressive strength, he could restrain the Hulk until he hopefully calms down. Eventually, when the Chitauri attack Earth, All Might's superior strength and speed will be able to help mitigate most of the damage, as we've seen him clear large numbers of foes in mere seconds. If he's close enough, he could also fly into the air, intercept the nuke, and throw it back through the portal to end the invasion. Now, he wouldn't be able to stop all the destruction, obviously, but giving the team unbelievable strength and speed is certainly a huge help. The events of Age of Ultron stay mostly the same too. During the fight with Wanda and Quicksilver, All Might is faster than Quicksilver in these movies, but he may still be able to get away if he chooses to abandon the fight, seeing just how much faster All Might is than him. It really does come down to the situation, but I don't think they'll be apprehended. Things continue the same until the next confrontation. During this, Wanda subdues the Avengers by showing them hallucinations of their greatest fear, but All Might has shown to be resistant to fear manipulation as he was unfazed by All For One's presence while others were frozen. Now, that's not to say that All Might doesn't fear anything, but if he didn't fear the strongest villain he had ever faced who killed his mentor and could have very well killed him, then I'm not sure what Wanda could show him to subdue him. I won't go so far as to say that her visions won't have any effect on him, but it's an interesting point to think about. The Avengers go to fight Ultron and his army, where Ultron threatens to drop a country onto the ground. Now, if worse came to worse, I do think that All Might could definitely punch hard enough to either destroy the country into more manageable pieces, and even create a very large amount of different wind currents to try and soften the landing. We have seen him completely soften the landing of large buildings before, and he wasn't in his prime during this. So if it came down to it, I think Prime All Might could create a series of strong air currents to save the day. Of course, the Avengers were successful in stopping Ultron, so All Might's speed and strength would mostly just be providing support. However, it is very possible that All Might is able to save both Hawkeye and Quicksilver, so Quicksilver can actually be in more than one movie. With Quicksilver alive, we move on to Civil War. Now, I think All Might would be Team Iron Man. All Might already works under the government as the show, as do all the heroes in My Hero. But just because he believes the government can bring order, it doesn't mean he'd be blind to the government's corruption. So while he would abide by the Sokovia Accords, he would definitely hard pivot once he sees the government's true intention. Now, when they split into teams, All Might would go on Team Iron Man and Quicksilver would join Team Captain America, as that's where Wanda is. During the fight, I think All Might wouldn't actually fight and would instead try to mediate, because All Might doesn't actually want to fight anyone, and he cares about his teammates and that at everyone's core, they're not enemies. But during the confrontation, All Might would mostly support, restraining Quicksilver, lifting the cars off of Iron Man, and knocking Ant-Man over with wind currents to knock him down. All Might doesn't want to hurt anyone, obviously, but he also doesn't want to go against the government, so he tried to find that middle ground, but not fighting anyone directly. When Iron Man finds out where Cap and Winter Soldier are, he'd inform All Might, knowing that All Might would want to help and can meet up with them quickly. They'd create their truce, but only for everyone to eventually start fighting again. All Might would try to mediate the fight, but All Might trying to handle 3 different people all trying to fight each other in a closed space without wanting to hurt any of them back, I think Cap would still manage to damage Stark's reactor. With Iron Man in critical condition, All Might would take the opportunity to carry Iron Man out of there to save him, leaving Cap and Bucky because he doesn't want to hurt them, with the added benefit of having an excuse to end the conflict. Come Infinity War, All Might would return to hero work, joining Iron Man and Doctor Strange after seeing what was going down in the city. I think All Might would probably just body Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian, causing them to retreat, without Doctor Strange, mind you. Iron Man, All Might, Strange, and unbeknownst to them, Spider-Man would still tail them because whatever was happening was something big. After defeating them in the ship proper, they decided to let the spaceship take them back to Thanos. After meeting up with half of the Guardians of the Galaxy, they eventually confront the Mad Titan, and here's where things get interesting. All Might and Thanos are finally having their showdown, and Thanos only has the Space, Soul, Reality, and Power Stone. Now, despite how powerful he is, this version of Thanos doesn't really seem to be able to use the stones to their full potential. I mean, why doesn't he just use the Space Stone to teleport Drax into the void of space? Why doesn't he use the Reality Stone to turn Iron Man into confetti? Whether you chalk it up to Thanos being too preoccupied with the other Avengers or just bad writing, it means All Might will have a pretty easy time here. All Might is much faster and stronger than Thanos, and Thanos has to be able to see his targets and react to them, as well as aim the gauntlet at them to use the stone's effects. This means that All Might can easily blitz Thanos, swipe the gauntlet off of him, and Thanos is left helpless. Then All Might could easily disarm Thanos, letting the Avengers take the win. Thanos does need the Time Stone, and he doesn't seem like the type to run away and try again later, so it's likely that he'll go down in one confrontation. Now, before anyone goes on the Battle Wiki and says that Thanos has multi-continental levels of durability, no he does not. Using the Infinity Stones does not mean he's taking on the full force of it. If that was true, Iron Man's normal human body would have exploded on an atomic level, but of course it didn't. When Tony Stark used it, he was just burnt and it caused his organs to stop. He wasn't taking on the entire force of all the Infinity Stones. It's never been explained how that energy is affecting the user, and you can't make it up just to scale your characters. And the Power Stone can't destroy planets on its own, because if it could, Thanos just would have done that on the Avengers. But he didn't. Why? Because he himself is not capable of doing what a celestial being is. Scalers who say he can are crazy. I'm sorry, but you are. Thanos was able to be damaged by Thor. Thor and Hulk are evenly matched. Hulk destroys large parts of buildings. Thanos has like large building levels of durability, if we're being generous. People who do power scaling need to keep it realistic and keep it within the confines of the movie. These characters are obviously not moon levels. For context, people like to say that Iron Man's durability is moon level because Thanos, quote air quote, threw a moon at him. No, he didn't. He broke off pieces of a moon and threw them at him. Iron Man was hit by a piece of the moon, so like an asteroid. And sure, Iron Man was okay, but it was a single part of the moon. You can't say that he survived being hit by a moon because he was hit by one part of it. That would put him at maybe building level of durability. But for some reason they took the sentence of Iron Man saying, "You throw a moon at me," and took it literally, despite being able to see very clearly that that was not an entire moon. So no, the Battle Wiki cannot be trusted, especially when it comes to Marvel and DC characters. Realistically, Thanos has large building levels of durability, as he was able to go toe-to-toe with both Thor and Hulk, who have been shown to be on similar levels of power, and Hulk casually destroys large parts of buildings. Not to mention that Thanos went hand-to-hand with Iron Man, who is a normal guy and his Iron Man suit is hardly strong enough to lift cars off of himself, and you want to say that Thanos is multi-continental level. Scalers aside, Thanos can't stand up to All Might. Now, even if Thanos does retreat and brings his whole army, same situation. All Might could take out large numbers of them all at once, and it wouldn't be particularly difficult. With All Might supporting the other Avengers, Thanos can never get his hands on the Time or Mind Stone, and the combined powers of the Avengers and All Might would put a stop to him. Thanks to All Might, the universe never gets snapped in two, and All Might just saved half the universe. But that's not the end of the Marvel stories. Now, I could go on about how All Might could help attend to any situation that takes place in the main city of Marvel, and how he'd be able to speed along the plot of all those movies, but that's obvious. The thing is, All Might always throws himself into a situation to help those around him. But what happens when All Might gets into a situation he can't handle? Obviously, he beats characters like Red Hulk and Green Goblin and all those extra movies we got. But what happens when we get to a movie that extends just a bit outside of New York? And by a bit, I don't mean just a bit. We're talking about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. During that movie, a monster attacks America. The girl, not the country, and All Might would definitely intervene. To which I think he would most certainly get involved in the whole situation. But All Might is a purely physical character. He has no magic, no hacks, and has never even considered the idea of a multiverse, which is like the entire movie. The only reason Doctor Strange and America are able to beat Wanda is because they have powerful magic. Heck, they didn't even beat her in a fight. They defeat her by convincing her that what she's doing is wrong, by showing her how scared of her kids are. Between Wanda killing people from inside their mind, literally warping reality and ripping people into pieces, All Might is in over his head here, and it's due to All Might's need to save people and help whoever he can that he might just get himself killed. It's possible that Strange does turn him down saying it's too dangerous, but All Might has never backed down from protecting someone, and All Might would insist that he help Chavez. Unfortunately, despite being much faster and stronger physically, the fact remains that Wanda could just reality warp him into oblivion. At least with Thanos, overwhelming him was a legitimate strategy and a good reason for why he didn't just cheese the fight with the stones. But here, it's only because of the writing that Doctor Strange and Chavez make it out alive. There's literally a scene where Wanda just deletes Black Bolt's mouth with zero effort and turns Jim from The Office into string cheese. All Might can solo basically any villain in Marvel who's bound by the laws of reality, but against someone with insane magic and reality warping, he doesn't stand a chance. And All Might will get involved. It's what he does. It's just like Deku says, meddling where you don't belong is the essence of a hero. Unfortunately, it's that same meddling that's gonna get All Might killed. All Might is gonna find himself in a position where he can't win, and Wanda is going to kill him. So, does All Might survive the MCU? Yes, until Wanda turns evil. In all the major events, All Might's incredible speed and strength are going to make life a lot easier for the Avengers, and many people will keep their lives. He can completely blitz Thanos and get the stones away from him, preventing Thanos from ever getting the chance to snap his fingers. But afterwards, All Might is going to go around saving people and eventually get caught up in Strange's plot to save Chavez. Once he gets involved with Strange though, he'll have to fight Wanda, and unfortunately there's just not a lot he can do here. Maybe if he gets a lucky hit off, he'll be okay, but there's nothing stopping Wanda from just killing All Might immediately. So if he's still in New York after Endgame, he's gonna die. Is what I would say if All Might's actions had no effect on the story. The only reason Wanda becomes evil is because she doesn't have a family. She had no one left after Endgame and she created that fake family to cope. But in this scenario, she never loses her brother Quicksilver and she never loses Vision. Meaning she never creates a fake reality with her kids and can actually live a happy life with the people she cares about. Thanks to All Might, he was able to save the people that Wanda held closest, and because of that, Wanda has no reason to become evil. Thanks to this, All Might no longer gets put into a situation where he dies. And after things calm down in America, which at this point in the movie they sort of have, he can return to Japan to continue his work there. The symbol of peace has always prided himself on protecting not just the lives of others, but their smiles too. And here, those smiles saved his life, as well as the lives of half the universe. So yes, All Might survives the MCU, and he changes it for the better. The Avengers have a much easier time, far less people die, and the most dangerous villains in the movies don't even get a chance to start their destruction. And just like Japan, America can finally become a place of hope. What do you think? Was there anything I missed? Did I gloss over a super important detail? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. All of your support really helps me and I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed watching. I've been the Hollow Error, and I'll see you next time.